The 2026 season began on July 1st, 2025, and you can start earning championship points for your World Championship invitation. My name is Rahul, and today I just played my first League Cup. Welcome to my road to the 2026 World Championship Series. We're going to talk about my matchups, the decks that I played, my everything that kind of broke down, how my season is going to go. Just a lot of fun here. So today I played Eevee Box. Eevee Box is a deck that I really wanted to play for NAIC, but I couldn't really get it to work that well. So I kind of was like, I got a cup coming up. Shouldn't be too many people. It's the 4th of July weekend. People have families that they love and cherish. So I decided to play Eevee Box. A terrible decision. Whatever. The deck is really fun, though. So I just locked in Nathan Ginsburg's list that he got top 16 with. He made asymmetrical cut, actually, with this list. Exactly the 60 card. Well, I mean, there's one change. I'll get there in a second. But he played this exact list to top 16. It looked really good. Couldn't find anything I wanted to change. The Serrano I wanted to maybe make into a Brox, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna trust this guy. He's good. He's better than me. He is placing better. The Gravity Mountain's a genius tech card for the Gardevoir matchup. I quite enjoyed having that card in the deck. Recovery is good. The energy split was perfectly good. Everything made sense. The Leafeon tech for the Grimmsnarl, the Charizard matchup, as well as having it in the deck for Gardevoir. Now, the one thing is, when I was building the deck, I forgot that I just don't have a 4th 70 HP Hoot Hoot. So I put in an 80 HP Hoot Hoot, which I realized a few times throughout the tournament that I just can't pop in for it, which made it even worse for me when I was playing this guy. So I was like, dude, I just intentionally nerfed myself. But whatever, it's a League Cup. We're having fun with it today. It's not a lot of stakes on the line. And for me, for lack of better terms, if I'm trying to get a World Championship invite, I should be shooting to get first or second at every single League Cup because that is 50 or 40 points individually. If I get second at every League Cup, that's 160 points out of the 200 I can possibly earn, leaving 40 on the table. If I get 4 first, that's 200. If I get 4 top 4s, that's 128, which is quite a few amount less than top 2. Basically, you want to get top 2 at cups to basically make them count towards your World Championship invite. For the most part, regional buff will go up a little bit because the bottom line is going to be a little bit higher due to all the inflation in regional championship points and IC points. That being said, I wanted to get a head start on the season, so I played this deck. Very cool deck. I really like the Noctowl engine, and today we're going to talk about how I played extremely poorly throughout the day. Round 1 I played against Raging Bolt. My opponent did not really have a lot going for them. They went in early with a Raging Bolt on turn 1 with Crispin, and blew up my Hoot Hoot with 80 HP, which was kind of really nice because I couldn't move it out of the active spot. So it was really nice of them to kill it for me. And then I responded with a Clefairy KO, and my opponent went CC up my Noctowl and didn't actually have a play past that. And then I had the Switch plus Boss combo to knock out something for 2 prize cards. And basically, from there, I couldn't really lose. I was so far ahead, it just put myself in a... I'm so sorry about that, yawn. I just drove home for like an hour. I'm really tired. But I was in like a really good position from that board state onwards, and I felt like I couldn't lose. Round 2, I played against Ho-Oh, and for a majority of the game, Ho-Oh Armor is a deck that needs to have the Charcadets and the stuff on board, so I just kept Sylveoning stuff away and poked in the active. He had a couple turns where he was able to saw block my Noctowl, but his hand was dead, so he wasn't able to actually establish anything. If he was able to go into something useful, it might have been really scary, but then he shuffled all his energies away with the Water Ogerpon, so then I used Angelite once again to shuffle in his board, leaving him with a pretty low hand size. And then I used Iono and knocked out the active Water Ogerpon, getting rid of the Legacy as well now. So his deck was just basically full of energies and Ho-Ohs and Charcadets. And no matter what he drew, basically he was stuck in a spot where he couldn't really establish a Ceruledge in one, or not sure, Armarouge in one turn. So I was able to just gust it and kill it and win that game. The next round I played against Ho again at 2-0. I got downpaired into a senior. And the game was going really well. I played really poorly on the first turn, where I just grabbed like double Noctowl because I was like, okay, I can go double Hoot Hoot, double Noctowl this turn, basically make any play I want to make next turn, go Poffin Stadium with one of the Noctowls of the following turn, and reestablish my Hoot Hoots. So I don't really know what the hell I was thinking there, but then I went to go do that play on the following turn, and I realized that I prized 2 Hoot Hoots, and so for the rest of the game, I was working without any Noctowl. So I had like 2 different turns where like if I had either Clefairy on board, if I had Boss that turn, if I had Briar that turn, like I had like multiple turns where like I needed like one piece to basically just win the game, but I could never get another Noctowl on board because I prized double Hoot Hoot, and I should have just known that I did that. So today I just like I can't stress like how poorly I played today, to be honest, and then that led me to losing that round, barely. And the next round I played against Dragazard, which I think is actually a pretty poor matchup, just because they have a good combination of attackers they can switch between, and I can't really establish a Leafeon early on. Um, My opponent does end up getting to a board state where they go exactly down to 2 prize cards with the Zard, is because my start was super slow, and I have 3 prizes remaining, and they choose to attach a Luminous to their bench Dreepy, which they had no reason to do because now I can just go in with Verdant Storm and Leafeon and Briar and win the game. So I got pretty lucky at the end that my opponent chose to attach an energy, but it is what it is. The next round, I was able to intentionally draw into top cut. What that means is because I had a record of 3-1, all players with 3, 1, and 1 were going to be eligible to make top cut. There's no reason for me to play out that next round, so I took an intentional draw and figured it out from there. Top 8. Oh, sorry. Top 8 pairings go up. I am up against Grimmsnarl, which on paper is a pretty good matchup. I don't know what's on my opponent's list, so I'm not really sweating it. The first game he opens like Snorunt, Monkey Doherty, Maractus pass. I go boss up the Maractus, KO it. He goes draw for turn and concedes the set because his just start is so poor. And I use Flareon to power up a Sylveon, and I was going to start Angeliting his board as soon as he starts establishing it because the deck is pretty slow to actually set up. And then the next game, he ends up getting a board set up where he goes in with Grimmsnarl and attacks, and then I go in with the Leafeons, Moss a Gate, attack the second one, and heal up my entire board while killing the active Grimmsnarl, and he had no response to one-shotting the Leafeon back, so he just conceded the point at that point as well. So I got pretty lucky in the way I drew. My opponent drew kind of poorly, but I end up winning and moving on to top 4. In top 4, I'm against Owen Dalgard, a aged up, I guess he's second year master now technically, but he had a phenomenal first year in masters with 3 top cuts that did quite well in a row. And he's playing Gardevoir, so he knows what he's doing. It is a good matchup for him, bad matchup for me. Game comes down to a position where he is almost about to win the game. I have effectively shuffled in a lot of resources. I make a slight misplay on one turn where I could have used Gravity. I drew into Gravity Mountain off of a Mew, but I could have made a play where I like switched into my Leafeon and chose to A-spec that instead and blow up the active Gardevoir with the Gravity Mountain now, and then leave my opponent with a Corellia. And he did have the second Gardevoir, so I think if he does that and he kills my Leafeon, then I lose A-spec and I can't make a Sylveon the following turn. But instead, I was able to go Angelite that following turn, shuffle in both Gardevoirs. My opponent ends up in a board state where I have been stun locked to needing to confuse flip one of 2 times. And if one of 2 times are heads, I think I'm in a really good spot. But I end up getting double tails, which is really bad on these confusion flips. And basically, that seals the deal for me, and I can't win from there. The second game, very close game by the way. His like deck was just all Gardevoir pieces at the end, and I had like effectively put myself in a spot to win in like 2 or 3 turns. The second game, we are in a back and forth headlock. Once again, I'm drawing kind of poorly. I end up in a board state where I can't really go for the Angelites because of the time. So I have to start attacking with Magical Charm pretty early on. He ends up getting a free knockout into my Sylveon more than likely, and then I end up establishing a pretty good board. And then he's down to 2 prize cards or 3 prize cards maybe. I'm down to 4 prize cards, and it's like a position where he's like, you can't really do anything to win this turn. But in reality, he left his active Gardevoir with 10 HP for some reason. Like he should have moved all 40 or all 60 off the Gardevoir onto my Sylveon or something on the bench or something, and just taking the free prize card. For some reason, he left 10 on the active, and there was 5 energy in play. So I actually had a world where I could have gotten Leafeon, gotten Verdant Frost, and like knocked him out here. I ended up getting the Eevee off his Artisan. I ended up crisping to it. I used an A-spec that I just took off my prize cards. Oh, also both games Fez was prize, so I just didn't get any extra card draw, which is like really cringe and really annoying because like you rely on Fez and Mew quite a bit in these decks to get a lot of extra card draw. So then I end up making a pretty big misplay at the end of the game because I Ultra Ball my hand away. I draw off the Mew and I draw the Ultra Ball as the exact one card. And I am thinking I can go Noctowl for Terra Orb for Leafeon, and I Ono my opponent to 1, all in the same turn. And the judge points out about 10 seconds later that I don't have a Terra Pokemon on my board, so I can't evolve into Noctowl. Therefore, I have griefed my turn and effectively thrown the game away. So it's pretty frustrating because if I just grabbed Leafeon and knocked out my opponent's alone Gardevoir, yeah, they're at 2 prize cards, but I'm also at 2 prize cards at this point. Maybe they're at 1 prize card, but it's just so impossible for me to lose from this position because this Leafeon can just take a couple extra prize cards, and I knew I had Fez and Turo prize, so if I attack with this guy, I get Turo back, which is a huge asset. So anyway, I finished top 4. Starting our season spreadsheet off pretty strong. You can see Eevee Box. Oh, it's not showing on my screen. You can see that it is starting off quite strong. It's already on the screen here. The League Cup 32 points are on the board for me out of a possible 200. And here we have the final placement. If you guys enjoy this content, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.